Heck of a game. Obviously, we came out on the bad side of it, and give credit to Chattanooga. I thought we got off to a great start, and crowd was great today. Great environment in there, and game plan was to hold those guys from the three-point line. They're making 13 threes a game at 47%. We hold them to 4 for 13, and probably couldn't have done a much better job there. But our interior play was, pathetic at best in the second half specifically, and unfortunately didn't play with enough physicality down there to win and separate a game where we had a decent low margin for a lot of the second half. And so give them credit for throwing a punch there in the last quarter of the game, and unfortunately, from missing 11 free throws to giving up that many second chance points again, it's just not the mental toughness that you got to have to be able to win high-level basketball games. And we got to look internally. I got to look at myself. I got to look at the whole thing and figure out what we have to do to make sure, that we're able to handle the physicality that obviously they're letting them play with, and if they're going to be able to put hands on us all game, then, hey, we got to adjust to that. And we got to figure that piece of it out, but we can't just turn the ball over and let those guys, run outs and put the ball on the backboard for easy baskets.
Coach, you mentioned the second chance points. They only shot 13 three-pointers, which you mentioned did a good job guarding them on the three-point line. A lot of those weren't long rebounds, so can you just talk about what they were doing, maybe more so in the second half even, to get access to the paint and to the boards?
Well, obviously, to take away their shooting, we were gonna be a little bit, restricted in terms of who we were coming off of and who we were tagging on and what we were helping off of. And but we figured that we could, handle the physicality of the game, and for a lot of the game we did. It felt like it was intensified in the second half, and we weren't able. I thought the ball got too deep down there. I thought the ball was getting into the post too easily. Ball screen D to start the game was really active, and I thought our hands were active, and then our drops were effective and efficient and fast, and then all of a sudden we just were kind of slow and weren't up to touch. And win is hard, and being committed to details is hard, especially when you're tired. And that's where my frustration lies. And clearly I got to coach it better, and I got to hold guys more accountable. But you can't go out there and miss 11 free throws, which continues to just be mind-boggling. We both shoot 28 free throws. They make 25. We make 17. It's a difference of 7 free throws right there. You lose a game by 4, right? Like, you can talk about all this stuff, but you just go up there and have the mental toughness to make free throws. You win the basketball game, and we're feeling a whole lot better. And I mean, let's say we don't make all of them, but let's say we make 7 of them. Well, now all of a sudden, you got 78 points, and you're right there at 80, and you feel like you were good offensively, and you feel like you got a big win. But instead, we threw 11 up there that missed. And unfortunately, when you look at it, man, in games like this, you got to hit your free throws.
Coach, this team's been through a lot of emotions this week, and did you get kind of a sense like when you went up by 16 or whatever it was in the first half, it was like maybe a sense of your team could finally breathe a little bit, maybe, or
no?
Or did they get tired from coming out the way they came out?
I don't know. I mean, I didn't get a sense that we necessarily relaxed. I think Chattanooga kind of ratcheted it up a little bit. They started pressuring a little bit more, and they probably did a little bit better job getting to their bench than we did. And we had a couple guys that I didn't think were mentally ready to play at the. I mean, listen, like, league games are different now. Like, there's a mentality that you have to play with these league games with, and you can't come out there kind of half in, half out. Like, you got to be ready to compete. And we're best when we can play 9 because of how we play, the tempo of what we play at. And I felt like in the heat of the game, did we get fatigued a little bit? That's probably fair, because we probably undersubbed. And that's on me. Ultimately, I make those decisions on who goes in and out of the game. But we got to make sure we have a whole. If we're going to play 9 got to be ready to play, and we got to be ready to attack the mindset of the game. And starters got off to a great start. There's no doubt about that. Great start. I think how we were guarding them kind of caught them a little bit by surprise. Dan's a really good coach. They kind of settle in. They go big. They're like, hey, we're just going to try to smash them down here, and then they did. And then I thought we survived it. I thought they threw a couple blows, and then we responded back. They threw a blow, we responded back. And then on that last one, maybe I got to watch it on tape. Maybe it was fatigue, but, man, they sure did. I mean, they whipped us in the box.
I know that Furman won the points from turnovers stat 20-14, but it seemed like, I don't know if this is a result of fatigue, but a couple of those turnovers right there at the end where there were live ball turnovers. I think Ed may have had one, and PJ just kind of, took his eye off the defender for a second. Can you just talk about how frustrating that is, and what can a guy like Ed, who's a young player, do to be more cognizant of that?
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's two types of turnovers in the game. There's turnovers and there's shot turnovers, bad shots. And, when you look at these stats, they got 15 points in fast breaks. We got 4. And so when you look at that, typically when you look at 15 fast break points, you're going to see a bad shot, which is usually the first pass of their transition offense, and they're running out on us, or you're going to see a turnover. And I thought our turnovers were loud, like just took the ball from us, just not strong with the ball. And, I got to watch it and see the contact. I mean, I know they were handsy and they were up on us, but, we also, if we want to be the team that we want to be, then we got to be able to handle some of that. And you got to drop some pressure, and you got to put the ball down, and you got to put it on the deck, and if they're going to get in you got to go by them. And unfortunately, I didn't think we handled that well. We tried to space the floor with Garrett a little bit, and we got into a little rhythm there. And then but unfortunately, we couldn't find a good enough groove. It felt like we should have been in the paint more. We should have been able to drive some of that pressure more, and but we weren't able to do it.
Coach, did you get, obviously one play doesn't make a difference in any game, but I thought kind of a big play was where they called Davis Molnar for his 4th foul on a play where it appeared like Cooper Bowser was the primary defender, and I thought maybe the 2-1 and the 1-2 got messed up in translation or something. Were you given any kind of explanation on that? Because it was Molnar's 4th with about 8 minutes to go, I believe, and he was been playing really well at that point, and obviously he has to come out where it would have been Bowser's 2nd. I just was curious about, did you get any kind of explanation on that call?
No, I mean, no, I didn't. Every time I asked, they just tell me, hey, this is what they saw. I mean, looked like they had a kid step out, was foot on the line when he hit the 3, and then, I mean, I can't wait to see the clip of PJ. I mean, I don't. It's an act of shooting when the whistle goes up. So I don't understand how that. I don't get that. But whatever, man. Like, it's just one of those situations where that stuff's out of my control, and yeah. I mean, they didn't miss 11 free throws for us, and they didn't give them 12 offensive rebounds that they turned into 17 points. So, I don't want to be the one sitting up here faulting them for it, but, I am curious to see that call because obviously the game's on the line, when that shot goes up and he's clearly shooting when the whistle goes. So, I think that's an unfortunate situation right there.
Coach, as Scott mentioned, it's a pretty up and down roller coaster type week. Can you just talk about preparing this team to go on the road to VMI and then to Mercer, and just what the mindset and what the mentality will be getting back to practice tomorrow?
Well, I mean, it's not super complicated. There's going to be ebbs and flows to seasons, and we're not gonna lose our minds. Because at the end of the day, we're 15-4. We're not where we're going to be in league play. We're 1/3 of the way through league play, and we've got to play better. But this is like I told them, we got to go do the things that we were doing successfully when we were winning at the level we were winning at. And there's all kind of ebb and flows with the season, and this is one that we're obviously in, and we've got to fight our way out of this. But that's the only way you do it. You have a group that you got to stay connected. You can't have internal adversity. You can't have finger pointing. Leadership has to take a jump. I think this is probably the Saturday 2 years ago that we lost to Greensboro at home, and very similar. Just a gut punch, and Mike Bothwell's leadership changed that night. I mean, it was like we couldn't get him out of the locker room, and he's texting me that night. Like, it was bad. And basically he took it upon himself, like, this is changing. And I can't remember how many we won in a row, but we went on a run there. And, if we won 7 or 8 in a row, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he decided he wanted things to be different. And then we had to go on the road for that too. We had to go up to Chattanooga, and we found a way to win that game. Very similar game in the night, back and forth, blow for blow game. And I thought, our player leadership changed through that adversity. And right now, when things are good and we're ahead and things are going well, we've got a pretty good rhythm to us. We got great people. We got great character on this team. But when teams make runs, especially, the emotion of league play and how people are playing people, we have a tendency to get a little quiet. We have a tendency to kind of look a little bit surprised. And, it wasn't tonight like we've seen it, in some of these previous 2 losses. But it's got to be a little bit more we got to have some players that are stepping up and saying, hey, this is how we have to go play. Enough's enough. We got to go make a run. And then they got to go out there and do it. And, so, look, I got total confidence in this group. I mean, this is what seasons are about. You find out a lot about yourself when you lose a game. And we're going to find a lot about ourselves. We're going to, like I said, we've got ultimately way more good than bad. But we've hit this little patch where, this game tonight could have gone either way. This is a 50-50 game, 2 great teams battling out. We led for 35 minutes of the game. They led for 4:20. I mean, those are the ones that kill you. Those are the ones that hurt you. So for 35 minutes, we did a lot of good stuff. But for 4 minutes and 20 seconds to give them the lead and let them come in our home floor and beat us, we didn't finish the game well. And that's what this team has done well. This team has finished. And, tonight we didn't. So, I'm disappointed. I'm mad, just to be honest with you. I'm furious, actually. But that doesn't mean I'm discouraged that this team can't respond. What my frustration is I know we're better than this. And, I know we can play physical. I've seen us play physical. And I've seen us lead well, right? I've seen us make free throws. This is a good group of guys, but at the end of the day, we got to go do it. And look, you don't like who you are, change what you do, right? That's just how life works. Change what you do. Don't change what you say. Don't change what you want to. Hey, whose fault is it or who you blame? Just change what you do. And boxing out is not a complicated deal, but you got to do it. And so for us, we got to make them do it. And this point in the year is hard because you got to worry about bodies and people getting frail, and all of a sudden, obviously you got to worry about loads and things like that. But we're not getting to where we want to be in March when we have to be at our best. If this team doesn't understand, we have to play physical. We got to play with an edge. We've got to make sure we protect that paint, and we got to protect that rim. And we can't just ask Ed and PJ to go chase around their 2 best players and let these other guys get layups on us and offensive rebounds on us and foul. Right? We can't do that. And we got to be better, and I trust we will be.
Coach, unfortunately, it was not the results that you guys wanted to see tonight, but you did really have some incredible support from your fans. Being a little deeper into the season now, can you speak on the turnout of your fans being here at the Well?
Yeah, I thought it was a great environment, and this is a big arena, so, you got to get a lot of people in here, to feel it. And, man, it was a great Saturday afternoon, and that's part of what's frustrating about it. You wanted them to be able to walk out of here and see a win, and especially in an arena like this. I mean, like I said, you gotta give them something to cheer for. And so our fan base has been great dealing with this transition, and we're almost 2/3 of the way through it, and I think everybody's kind of got adjusted to these are the games downtown, and this is what it is. But yeah, it was a great Saturday afternoon. We needed a few more free throws, and we needed a few more defensive rebounds, and we had a great day.
Hey, Coach JD. Thanks for having me here. First time asking you a question. I actually saw you and Cooper throwing a football before the game there on the court. Is that a way that you kind of help relax your players a little bit, take their mind off of basketball? Can you explain that kind of process and what was going on there?
Yeah, we it's just a hands thing. We really, early in the year, Cooper was struggling to catch some balls that we felt like, he could get. And our strength coach is phenomenal. John just does an incredible job with our team. And that was his idea. Like, hey, let's bring a football out here, and it's throwing fastballs at him, and you just working those hands, and so we just made that part of his routine, and we've seen some improvement. It's not been perfect, but it's definitely been improved, and that's the one thing you got to remember is Coop's a true sophomore. We're asking Ed to do a lot out there. Ed goes out there tonight, plays 34 minutes again. He's a redshirt freshman, and we got some young guys that are gonna. I mean, they're continuing to get a ton of experience, and a lot of people. This last year, obviously a lot of grads and a lot of portals and a lot of different things like that. The one thing I like about where we stand from a program standpoint is we have some really good, healthy young talent. And we see that Ed made some really good plays tonight. 1 point shy of double figures, but 3 for 7 from the field. And I thought his defense was tremendous, and he was a 0 plus minus. And which obviously the game was tied when he was out there. So Coop and Ed are going to have big time careers here, and we're excited about both of their development.